Uh, Good evening, folks. I've been thinking about doing a video, and I hadn't done one in a while because I was working on my final orals. And I was thinking, as I was wondering what a video to do, that a video's focusing on relationships, and especially with things going on like in the lately with the incident that happened at the Oscars, and just people weighing in on this on one side or the other. And as a psychologist, it's not so much whether somebody's right or wrong. I see it in the aspect, is this in a relationship where it's conducive for good relationships? Or, in other words, is it a good behavior type of relationship where it's supportive and loving? Or is it a relationship that's undermining and not good for the health of either individual? And the fact of the matter is, even though you hear about like celebrities, this is an everyday occurrence for a lot of people. And especially this is critical in areas where there's a lot of poverty, where people are together not necessarily out of essence, but out of necessity. So the point here is that when we talk about this, relationships are focused on, is this something that can be very supportive and loving for the individual? And with that said, I think a lot of people have to step back, especially now after COVID, and think, is this something that I can grow with? And as a psychologist, the first step in any relationship, and there's the song that Michael Jackson did, it's called The Man in the Mirror, but I also like to say The Person in the Mirror. You have to make those decisions by yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and decide, is this a relationship that has meaning and has essence, or is this a relationship that can be very undermining and not good for either person? In essence, what we have is a relationship based on, and excuse me about the train, is a relationship that can be very, very positive or very, very negative. And so, in essence, as an individual, you can need to take stock in this. And I've said this to someone today, that there's always this honeymoon stage, but once that wears off, usually this is when the person emerges, excuse me, out of being extraordinary to just being their basic person, because they feel more comfortable around the individual. So, with that said, the point here is, even if you think that a relationship is based on love, or there's this whole thing about this person makes me feel good, and it's not necessarily the case. The case here is this person very supportive and very loving when I need to be, or is this person narcissistic? Does this person try to undermine what I try to do? And then, if you can't answer those questions, might be a situation where you have to take a reserve into it before you go deeper into it. And I see what happens with this too is with individuals. I had an individual call me last week that they're married to somebody for 20 years and they take that for granted. And the point is, if you start taking something for granted, you're probably going to lose that relationship, because every time that you take something for granted, it does not necessarily mean that that person is wanting to be taken for granted. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, you develop a relationship out of love, understanding, and respect. And I think, and I know, I shouldn't say think, but I know, When you lose respect in a relationship, or that trust is no longer in that relationship, that can be a friendship, can be even your husband, could be your wife, significant other. But when that respect is not there, you really got an uphill battle ahead. So what you have to do is gain that trust and that rapport back with that individual. But there again, that goes back to, is this relationship worth saving? Now, I've had people, there's a conference out in Southwest where this group of people that's called Southwest Love Fest that want me to attend, be their psychologist. But a lot of that has to do with open relationships. And though I'm not a big component of open relationship, because when you have an open relationship with a person, there's not that commitment, there's not that rapport, and there's not that trust in that relationship. And I know people are probably going to ding me for this, but that's the way I see it as a psychologist, because you need that rapport and trust. In essence, a relationship has its up days and has its bad days, but when you have those bad days, you can always look for the good days as well. So, in essence, folks, these are some food for thoughts about basically about relationships, how to view relationships. But the main emphasis, like I said, I want to talk about this, is the fact that if you think you're in a toxic relationship, you need to reach out to somebody, do your own assessment, and just step back, because this can lead to domestic violence, can lead to other issues of violence as well. Anyway, please like and subscribe below on my video. Please, if you have any questions, reach out to me at B. Thomas Miller Psych. That's B. Thomas Miller. It's spelled BTHOMAS Miller, MILLER, Psych, PSYCH at gmail.com. Anyway, folks, have a great weekend and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.